Welcome, welcome, everybody. Calling in from snowy Northern California. Yay. Finally got a bit of snow here. I think our prayers all helped. I got snowed into the coast over here, and I'm just going to wait till after the show. I think they got the mountain passes plowed, and so I'll be able to get home. So thanks for coming on. This is People for People Radio, the voice of truth through Scotland. And I just want to give thanks to all you guys in the chat room there. And we have a special guest on today. We got Chief Charles Twodog from the Western Lenape tribe. And it's a great honor to have him on. And I know probably a lot of you already know who he is and all about him, but I thought just for people who, like myself, who I just met him online just not too long ago, and so I'd love to hear some of his stories and what he's up to, what he's doing. I know that a lot of the stuff that we do talk about online here is, healing and entering into the matrix to bring on different paradigms. And from what my experience is with Native American people is that's kind of it's a common thing that they're walking in all the time. So I'm really excited to talk to Twodog today. This is the Traditions of Peace show, and my name is Yul Ainsley. So thanks again, y'all, for coming on, and welcome, Twodog.
Well, thank you, my relative, my female heart friend to have me on today. I'm very, very much want to say that I'm Wopila. I'm grateful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you on. We've talked a few times, and so I was just wondering if you wanted to just give us a quick rundown about who you are and where you got to be where you're at, and a little bit about what you do there, and then kind of follow up with some questions and stuff.
Well, right now, I am the principal chief of the United Western Lenape Nation. I've actually went from, a very homeless child, from when I was 8 years old to chief now. So that is, it's been a very big step, big life in my time. I've went from sleeping and eating out of garbage cans to this. So this is a grateful thing. I'm grateful to still be here. I've been, I've been a buzzard man most of my life, and what a buzzard man is someone who has always stood up for burial ground. When burial ground gets interrupted, so to speak, or someone comes into our burial ground for wrong situations, I've always been there in my area. What we believe in and what we stand for is black, white, yellow, red are the sacred four directions. If we want to put color aside, it's nothing about the color, but it's about the human being and being able to set with each other. Because we believe that in this world, we're related to everything that flies, walks, and crawls. So right now we just had a couple of elders that sat with the Lenni Lenape in Pennsylvania, and that's an honor to be able to sit with them. And we're sitting with many here in Kentucky as well. So it's a thing of the Rainbow Warrior prophecy also that we're very much involved in.
So that includes all of us, right?
Yeah, that includes, as far as the human being, let me say it like this, that includes all of us, black, white, yellow, red. It doesn't matter, and brown now, because we put color aside. It's not about color. It's about the human being and the integrity of all of us, because what I've learned by sitting with the Māori, the Eastern Band Cherokee that I've sat with, the Māori from New Zealand, even the English that I've sat with, and everyone else. Everyone I've sat with wants the same for their children. And their next generation. They want the same that we do. In other words, when I come home, I love my wife, I love my child. I laugh with them, I talk with them, I eat with them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm finding out is that worldwide, that's the same. So we're not that different. Culturally, yeah, maybe. But as a human being, we're not different at all.
Yeah, exactly. Clean water, good food, safety, right?
Yeah. When I sat with Mexico, it was the same. It was the same with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mexicans are Native Americans. It's America all the way up and down this continent. So
Very true. Mexican people are Indian people. Okay.
yeah.
Now we call it the Great Turtle, but the Great Turtle Island that we're talking about is Mexico, United States, and Canada. So that's the Great Turtle.
Yeah, and well, I think that what happened with Mexico was that the Spanish arrived over there, and they. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Charles? Okay. When the Spanish came over to Mexico, they dominated in a different way. They infiltrated and they married in and they blended more, I think, with the Native Americans from Mexico. So pretty much almost everybody in Mexico is part Native American, whereas up here there was more of the, slaughtering and getting rid of the people. I mean, there was a lot down there too, but they kind of dominated in a different way by infiltrating and then using the religion and things like that to bring their culture around to their worldview, to the other,
Exactly.
to subjugate people. But yeah, and when I was in Mexico, I lived there for a while, and people were real ashamed of being Indians. And they were more Indian looking than a lot of people I know up here that are Indians, and it's kind of sad. Yeah, yeah. But I think they lost. Yeah, go ahead.
We were taught, my great-grandmother, I used to talk with her, and I met my great-grandmother on my grandfather's side, right? And my mother's father. I met her, she was born in 1867, and I talked to her in 1969, right before she died.
Wow.
And that was the very, very first time I heard a hello in my own language. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what that was she stated, when she spoke to me, and I said, Grandma, we're not supposed to talk that. We're not even supposed to speak that anymore. And she goes, I'm 102. What are they going to do? Shoot me? So I kind of got tickled at her. But what she done at 102 is she made a not 10-year-old boy go, wait a minute. I may want my language back. And she kept that involvement. It is our women. It's our women, okay? Because we come from a matriarchal society. I may be the leader of this nation, but I still have to go sit in front of the clan mothers. And if I don't do the right job, they got the right to take me out.
Yeah. So how does that work then? If let's say you went out and did something, said something wrong or then would they just call you up and sit down with you and talk about,
Yes. What I actually do in my nation, if there's something very, very important to do, I'll go sit in front of my head clan mother and my clan mothers, okay? And I will take their advice. And what we do in this nation, we hold a thing called a feather circle. So if there's any vote in my nation, everybody in the nation comes in this circle, Steve. And everybody has a voice. And what the nation wants me to do, I go do.
Okay. Wow. So, in your tradition, and I know that a lot of the traditions have been interrupted through just the acculturation and schools and stuff. Did you go to boarding schools when you were little? Did they come and get you, or?
Well, I had to. How do I put it? I had to fight a lot of racial problems when I was, from the time I was born. Actually, they tried to kill my mother But I had a lot of trouble in school as being Indian. I did quite a bit.
Hmm.
I didn't last long in school, to tell you the truth. But
Yeah.
I used to watch my grandmother's mother. I remember her, and she would go to the bathroom. I remember her going into the bathroom to put her makeup on and stuff like that, right? So she accidentally left the door cracked, and I can remember watching her put makeup over a tattoo that she was in the boarding school with.
Oh,
They tattooed her.
wow. I didn't know that they did that. Interesting.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, I said many with a brother that they did that to as well.
Yeah. Our grandfather that just crossed over a couple years ago here, he was really one of the only people that's alive these days that didn't go to the boarding school because his grandparents hid him out in the mountains. And he spent a lot of years just wandering around the mountains here with Bigfoot and stuff. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, it's pretty. So your grandma spoke full is Cherokee, right?
Well, yeah, my mom's side of the family, my mother, she is from the eastern, related to the Eastern Band. I'm related to all the Browns and the Davises on that nation. I'm related to them and Chief Samuel Davis. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, on my dad's side is New York Mohawk.
Oh well. So, uh, okay, there was a question here about where was that? They wanted to know if you've where's the chat here? Here it is. If you ever sat with the Scots. Somebody was asking if you've ever sat with the Scots.
Well, I haven't completely what you call set with the Scots. We do hold the Scottish flag here. Now, here's the point. I sat with a person by the name of Red. His name they call him Red. I've been united with them. It's called the Native Cultural Circle. Okay, it's in Tennessee,
Mhm.
and who I sat with is his name is Chief Red Kirby. He is actually Scottish and Cherokee. So yeah, I got a good friend I always sat with, and he's at least half Scottish. Yeah,
All right.
I'm wanting to sit with the Scots because here's why. Culturally, we when the Scots first came here, they married into our people because we got a clan system. Okay, the Indians had a clan system, and the Scots had a clan system. Okay, so we understood each other through that. So we're very both the Scots and the Indian people are very tribal.
So, what does that mean to you today? These days, the clan system is it different than it was when you were growing up, or when your grandmother was growing up?
The clan system is not that much different. Okay, you have your clan mothers of each clan. Uh, you have your chiefs of each clan. Okay.
So you're a chief. You're a chief from your clan, and then you
I'm
have.
a chief. I'm actually a chief of the whole nation, to be honest.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
Now, my wife is actually half Scottish,
Mm.
so I kind of have that. We have Scots in our clan as well,
Hmm.
or part Scots anyway.
Hmm. So you said that you have a tree of peace that's planted in your land. Do you have like ceremonial land there that you guys get together and do
Yes,
things
we
on?
have. Yeah, we have that. But what we have been done, there's a group that actually it was a church that actually asked our permission to open up in our territory. Now,
Mm.
no church has ever done that before that I can recall. And if we said no, that they couldn't, they said they wasn't going to do it anyway. But we have gotten to the point they hold to our culture, and they respect us as we respect them. and there was a ceremony that we done together, and the Tree of Peace is in our territory. Yes, they planted the Tree of Peace in our territory, which is a immaculate honor.
Nice. Yeah, so that's a white pine, right? White pine.
Yes.
And we were trying to find white pine. We ran into this 94-year-old guy walking along the trails, and he said they have five needles coming out of the little bundles. I thought that was interesting.
We planted it. It was very small. I could remember it. It wasn't very big when we planted it, and we got together for a potluck between both leaders, between me and the leader of the church. And when we got out there and we looked, this tree has grown immensely, so it's beautiful right now. And my war weapon is under the Tree of Peace right now.
And what does that symbolize for you? What is that?
Well, what it was with if you remember or ever look at the Iroquois Confederacy, okay? Mm-hmm. If you check the Iroquois Confederacy, you had a man by the Peacemaker, okay? And the Peacemaker talked to a guy by the name of Twodog, who was an evil leader, okay? But this Peacemaker made all this arranged. But they had the Tree of Peace, and what happens is if one of the leaders, they put their weapons under the Tree of Peace, they will not go to war anymore. You see, with that, say, certain person or certain nation, okay? Mm-hmm. So I did that in that ceremony and put my war club under the Tree of Peace. It's there now.
Nice. My parents, and I understand you also were or still are civil rights activists.
Yeah.
I remember singing that song we would go to Martin Luther King or even the Black Panther, because I grew up in the Bay Area, and so my parents were very active just in the community there, and so we used to sing that song, Ain't Gonna Study War No More.
Yeah, We Shall Overcome was a lot with ours.
Yeah.
I actually marched with a man, but he was actually 18 when I was 8, and I was marching in the Martin Luther King movement with him. Wow. I actually did this when I was 8. So, and the thing about it is 50 years later, we met again.
Wow.
And he's now about 70. I'm fixing to turn 60. So, if you think a miracle doesn't exist, that's one in itself.
Oh, it does.
Miracles, they happen. They truthfully do.
Yep, that's right. Yep, they do.
So 51 years later, we're talking, and we're back here. We're here again. That's
great. That's great. Yeah. I'm wondering if you have any word, or how you. Let's see. My grandfather was Native, I'm sure, although our family always said, "Oh no, he's Spanish. He's tall and light skinned," but he wasn't. He was short and really dark, and he looked like one of those guys on the side of the pyramids if you looked at his profile. But I'm just wondering with people who. So he ended up being a real bad alcoholic until he died. And one time I was in a meditation, and I spoke with him, and I asked him why he started drinking and why he became an alcoholic, and he said that because he was the generation that lost the connection with the roots, Yeah. So I'm just wondering what words of wisdom you could give us, those of us who have lost, and I know at some point you kind of did too. You were wandering around. To help people who, don't have a connection with their roots, maybe know kind of where they come from. But, what we can do to sort of start these traditions that are meaningful and, can get us back to those roots.
I tell you what, I was lucky, okay, because right now I'm fixed on the 24th of May, I will now be 40 years sober, okay? And 40 years straight. Okay, so that's a blessing. Now, I was lucky because I had a traditional grandfather. That's a different deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's what I'm saying. For those who wish to get back to the understanding, because being Indian was always told to me by my grandfather is just common, normal, everyday thinking. That's it. In
Yeah.
other words, walk up to a tree and hug it and sit underneath it. You lament better because the tree is a connection between earth and sky. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you want to see what it feels like, is to understand from the heart. All right, it's your heart. The heart that you have is the heartbeat. All right, that's the drum in your life right now that lives inside your chest. Okay. Now, if you want to think about it, everything that flies, walks, and crawls is a relation to us. The standing ones, the bug peoples, the plant peoples, the four-leggeds, the wingeds, the fishes in the sea. Everything is our relation, all right? And the two-legged.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand that everything, the connection between, say, Gitchimani to God or whatever you call your creator, Wakantanka Tankashima, all right? Every step on this Makaina, this earth mother that you take, is a constant talk with the creator, all right? You have a constant one-on-one relationship.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And how to do it is sometimes just go outside, build you a circle fire, light that circle fire, set on the earth mother, okay? Set on her. Watch that fire, okay? Get back into connection that everything here, from the daylight to the night, it's all sacred. In other words, we are all spirits in a three-dimensional shell, okay? So all of us that are spirits in this three-dimensional shell, we are all, everything is Wakan. Everything is holy, all right? So inside ourselves in this three-dimensional shell, we have this spirit. Then all of us have holy spirits. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There is a connection between the two-leggeds and everything upon the planet. We are all relatives.
Yeah. So this is interesting timing. This question just came in from the chat room. So it's asking about if there's sociopaths or psychopathic people in native culture as opposed to European immigrated people. So what you do about that kind of thing?
Well, mainly in my nation, I don't have no problem with that. We don't have people with that kind of problem really. But what I do, man, is I try to make all of us understand that we don't need no ego in here. We take the ego and put it away. Ego has no relative here. Okay, because the more ego you got, the worse it can go. And you got to keep your mind straight.
You think that having the women such in a balanced position with the men in your culture, that has something to do with that?
Well, see, here's the thing that a lot of people need to understand. Throughout history, and I'm going to say with the American government and the Army, okay? The American government.
Okay.
Here's what they knew. When they met with us, that we did have a matriarchal society, and we had the clan mothers and stuff like that, right? Well, they knew that we listened to the clan mothers. We wasn't listening to them. So they tried to break the clan mother system to whether, okay, you cut your hair, you believe in the book, and you believe like us, and they took the clan mother system out of it. And it's been here for thousands of years. Yeah. And it worked. Now,
oh yeah, go ahead.
Now let me explain this, all right? As far as this situation goes, it is for the male and the female work together for the benefit of the whole. See,
Yeah.
our women, and I'm going to say this since I have you on air with me. All right, that women, black, white, yellow, red, around the world, it makes no difference. All women are sisters to the earth. All right, you're sisters. You clothe, you feed, you give birth, you do everything the earth mother does. So it is always up to me as a man and as a warrior as well to always bow to the life giver, because without you there would be no life.
Mm-hmm.
We work together for that benefit.
Yeah. So, Ed, I imagine that just through acculturation and being in this other world that we live in, that's way different than your guys' world was before.
Definitely.
So people fall off that wagon, right? So they forget how to get along or how to work together. When
Exactly.
when I was living in Mexico once, I was single for a real long time. I was a single mom, and I really wanted a partner. And I remember going down to the town center where they would have like at nighttime, everybody would go out and walk around the plaza, and the men would all get all dressed up, or the young men, the young women would all get all dressed up and looking pretty and stuff. It was really cute. And I remember there was this place that sold like tacos and drinks and, just fruit juices and stuff. And there was a man and a woman, a couple running it. And they were a little bit older. And they just, boy, they didn't even have to talk. They just worked together so well. It was so beautiful. I would just sit there and watch them because I never got that. I think my mom and dad fought a lot when I was little. And so I just really thought in my mind, that's what I want to be like. I want to be where, you just honor each other. You don't have to even communicate with words. It's just, you just know how to work together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, sister, I'll let you know something. My grandfather and my grandmother, okay, they lived together for 68 years until my grandfather walked on at 82, okay? One of the things that I will have to show you, and I want to show the people, after the Indian Wars were over with us and the boarding schools and the residential started, they taught us they wanted us to pray every morning, every afternoon, every evening, every night, at least 4 or 5 times a night. One of the things that they taught us as well, okay, in the boarding schools and the residentials were a me, mine, and I thing, okay? Everything is me. I did it. Me, mine, and I. That's mine. I, me. See what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Our ways, the reason everything is so backwards to us, all right, is that tribally it was we, us, and ours. In other words, we did it. It's all about us, and everything is ours. In other words, we share with each other. So it went from teaching us how to me, mine, and I to a we, when it was a we, us, and ours.
Huh. It's interesting because in Mexico, the Spanish language, even though it is that we're speaking English now, but of course they speak Spanish. But inherent in the Spanish language, they don't normally talk about mine or it. It's just like, oh, this is my car. In English, we say that's my car. Well, in Spanish, you say that's the car. And so when I was living down there and I was speaking sort of Americanized Spanish, and I would say that, people would look at me weird like, gosh, what are you talking so selfishly for? But it's interesting how inherent in our language are these concepts that it's really good to look at,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you take say the Salagi language, okay?
Uh-huh.
I can walk up to you and go like, "Now I'm gonna teach you just a little, okay? Just a little," because a lot of people see me chatting on the chat, people for people, and I may put something in, but that's just the way I do things. But I could walk up to you and go, "Osio," which that means hello, right?
Yep.
Now, if I go up to you and go, Osio Dohichu, it means hello, how are you? Okay. Now, if you were a brother or sister of the Saligi Nation, you would say, if you're having a good day, or you're having a very good day, right? You'd be like, osta da. See? So basically, there's your, hello, hello, are you? Good, very good.
What does Osada Sunali? I heard that before. Osada Sunali.
Yeah, it's like good night.
Oh, okay.
Things like that. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nice. I heard also, the Huichol people down in Mexico, and I think this is true in other languages, Native American languages from this continent, that there was no such word as work, W-O-R-K, in those languages. It was more just like whatever it was you're doing. Like, I'm not going to work. I'm going to go help people feel good today, or I'm going to go, acupuncture on someone, or work in the garden. Yeah. So, but it was only in the slave mentality and the forcing of work that concept came in, about the drudgery of work, but more like, and that's great because it opens you up to like just having this joy for whatever it is that you're doing. It's not this drudgery of work, that concept.
Well, it's like if somebody is doing something, right? Mm-hmm. They're doing it. That's what they want to do at the moment, right? But if it's helping other people, all right, say I see you building a wiki up. If I was Apache, all right, and I walk over to help you, because that's what we do. We help. You're just doing what we always did. We need that wiki up, so we're going to build it together. You see what I'm saying? It's just a normal everyday thing.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, a lot of nations, as far as say the African and the Haitian people, okay, that were here, that you had the slavery in America, because you really, really did. The African culture and the Indian culture was so a lot alike, because we're both people of the drum. When, say, they would run away from, like, their slave owner, right? They would run, and say the slave owner is coming to get what they considered their property. Well, what we were saying, but that's my wife, that's my child, because we married into each other.
Yeah.
Because of the similarities as well, right? So we're saying, if you want them, come get them, because you ain't getting them. Because we did not, matter of fact, if we actually were warring with another nation, say this was going on, and we actually took captives, I'm just going to say it like that, we would actually assimilate them into the nation.
So I'm wondering, do you think part of it was to keep the gene pool open and strong, just to pull in new blood, or?
Say you lost a brother. Say you lost a brother in war, right? Mm. And you have a captive, or that captive may become your new brother. Uh-huh. A lot of times with, I'm going to say it like this, when we actually had, say, women captives, right? Uh-huh. They actually didn't want to go home. Yeah. To be honest with you, they did not want to leave us, because we treated them better.
Well, I know quite a few Cherokee people, and we have an elder out here that we hang out with a lot, but he moved kind of further away recently. But boy, he really knows how to make beauty in the land that he lives on. And another person we know from Vermont is the same thing. They just have this ability to sense into the natural beauty of the surroundings and to respect the integrity and the environment. I don't know if the little people or, but it was just amazing, that ability that they have, those people that we know. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about this, okay? The thing about this is that we are a connection to our Earth Mother. okay? We're
Yeah.
caretakers. That's how you hear us speak about. We're caretakers of the Earth Mother, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So we're here to take care of her. We have been, my people on the Great Turtle have been here the way the old ones have always said for at least 130,000 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have been here a long time.
So, what kind of advice would you give to people who are, maybe living in cities or in places where they're not taking care of the land? And there's some depression, I think, that happens when we witness what's going on. Is there any kind of advice you could give to us to how to kind of maintain our sense of the internal beauty and the prayerful way of being when we're sitting in this soup where, this situation where there's, so much hard
I
stuff to
would,
watch?
I would suggest, okay, I would suggest like a prayer circle, okay?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I would suggest a prayer circle. Now, I would suggest also for love, honor, and respect of each other that are in this prayer circle, okay? That's the main point, love, honor, respect of
Mm-hmm.
all of us, okay? What my nation does is that we bring everyone in, say for a potluck. In other words, everybody brings some kind of food here when you come to a meeting, right?
Uh-huh.
I would also suggest drum groups if you can get, if you can get a drum group, because a drum is the heartbeat of the people. Okay. If you meet with each other, I suggest like a talking stick or a talking feather. And because we do the talking feather in my council when we all come together, and that when you hold that feather, you are the only one allowed to speak. No one else in that circle is able to speak except for the one holding it. You can speak for 5 seconds or 5 days. Makes no difference. You see what I'm saying?
So that gives people a chance to really express around
Yeah,
people who are understanding
exactly.
what's going on so they don't like internalize and get sick from it, right? I
Right.
mean, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh. Cool.
That is highly important.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then the whole thing about when you get together and eating together, right? That has a special thing that it does, right, for people.
Well, see, if you meet someone, okay, say you come together as a potluck. Say you got a potluck, everybody brings something to this potluck, and we're all sitting as a people and we're eating together, okay?
Uh-huh.
So what if you think about that? That could be considered as a family.
Uh-huh. So it makes you family when you eat together.
Yeah, we're all family anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It's important because I think what people happens with us in this culture that we live in, especially those of us who've kind of lost our direct connections, is that we feel so isolated. And that kind of thing is really, important to bring us back together in a real way. And that eating is that nourishing, nourishing ourselves, nourishing our our connections. Yeah, great. And I know food. It always takes. Yeah.
We actually did that with the Mexican people that we met as well. Now,
Mexicans like to eat. They know how to eat.
Yeah, they know, buddy. I ate till I was about to pop. Just don't say, but they are very good at that as well.
Yeah. So we got a question here from the chat room here. It's a little off subject, but we can go to it if you want. So during a shamanic experience, have you ever met or seen higher beings? And if so, what form did they take?
Well, I actually did. And what these forms took was different animals, okay? Different, like the wolf, the bear, the buffalo, other things of that matter. I also did see in this is that different people of color, and they all come together, all coming in one great big circle. I have seen that. Now, let me explain one thing to you, and maybe you'll understand this. I got up one morning, went out and done my prayers, that I do every morning, right? And I come back, I got a cup of coffee, and I'm sitting on my porch. And all of a sudden, there was like a bright light that just absolutely blinded me. And I am not taking anything. I just want you to know I've been straight and sober 40 years. I looked up and I seen this native spirit, right? And he smiled at me. And I'm watching this thing, and it's like he handed me beads, and he had beads in his hand. It was like he was handing them toward me. Okay. It wasn't a week go by when the Mahdi came and sat with us, and they were the very first nation to give the flag to our nation.
Wow.
So I talked to some that has said that might have been a vision of the peacemaker. If it is, that is a good thing.
Oh.
But we now hold 79 flags from around the world and states as well. And when we meet with each other, our flag will go up and the peace flag will go up in the middle, and whoever we meet, like Mexico or Israel or wherever, goes up beside that in an honor and respect manner.
So that's nice because it just, like how the Tibetans have their prayer tags or prayer flags, and
Yeah.
so you got those flags all up there and making prayers around them, right, for peace, and that we're all learning how to respect each other, right?
Well, I'm going to say it to Graham. Yeah, Graham, I did say animals also because we are connected to the winged, the four-legged, the fishes, and everything else. So, yeah, I did say animal. But, I have 3 totem animals with me. Okay, it's the hawk, the eagle, and the wolf. The wolf is my strength animal.
Uh-huh. I saw Roberta, what was her name? The Dene or woman, Roberta, what was it, Walking Goat?
I think so.
Yeah, she crossed over, but I went to see her in San Francisco. She was talking, and I don't know if I was using anything back then. I don't think I was, but she turned into a wolf while she was talking up there on the stage. It was interesting.
Well, I do know there are like shapeshifters and other things going, in Native culture. To be honest with you, I have actually seen one Sasquatch in my whole life, and it actually took my dog's dog food. We were actually camped out, and he wasn't sheep. I'm gonna say sheep because she wasn't that. She's about 7 foot tall, I think. But I did see it. She didn't like the dog food very much. I did see it, and it wasn't. She might have been 20, 25 feet away from my teepee, to tell you the truth.
Well, yeah.
So they do exist.
Yep, I heard them once. I was up in the wilderness. I live right outside of the Marble Mountain Wilderness area in way northern California, and there's a lot of stories about the Sasquatch or Bigfoot here. And one time I was camping up there with our grandpa. It was the last time he ever went up there, actually, and he I heard. I woke up in the middle of the night hearing this crashing sound, just crashing down from one of the ridges down to our camp and then back up, and that was kind of a long ways, and it was going pretty fast, and it was making the sound like a cross between a screech and a heavy breathing or something, and I made the face for our grandpa. He's like, "Don't do that." But
well, yeah, I've had that happen to me, and I went, "Don't do that. Don't ever do that again. Don't do that."
Yeah.
But I want to say why I'm on air, sister, if it's all right.
Sure, yeah.
One thing I would like to do is say to my Māori brothers and sisters, if you're listening out there from Aotearoa, the traditional way of saying New Zealand, I would like to say kia ora to all of them. And I actually did celebrate the Waitangi Day, so I want to let everybody know I did celebrate Waitangi Day. Had a great time with that, by the way.
What is that day? What's that about?
Waitangi, you have Waitangi Day, and what that is, they celebrate the, I think they also celebrate the, I can't think of the dang word right now. The Treaty of Waitangi, I think 1870, something like that. Now, they had a treaty celebration between what they call the Pakeha and the Māori people, okay, and the white man and them, okay. They had a treaty. The thing about us is we've had at least 499 treaties with the United States government, and everyone's been broken, not by us. But I did celebrate Waitangi Day. Just gonna say it. So I just want to let them know.
Nice. That's nice. So when a lot of people have heard about the you guys' planting traditions, and I think that you have ceremonies that are around the planting cycle of the corn and the three sisters. And
yeah, we have the three sisters that we plant. You know, it's bean, squash, and corn. We actually do prayer ceremonies and prayer dances for that as well. And we allow mainly the women to do that because they own it. You know, they're the sisters to the earth to us, and then we have our spiritual leader come in and bless that.
Nice. So I'm just wondering about bringing, because you know, I come from the people that have been a little bit lost, you know, lost our roots and stuff, and I know you guys are finding your roots again and bringing these dances back and the songs back and stuff. And so I read this book called Buffalo Bird Woman's Garden. Have you ever read that?
No, ma'am.
Oh,
no, ma'am, I haven't.
So it's the Sadasta Indians. I think they're the Sioux, one of the Sioux nations. And some anthropologist went out there and lived with her over the course of, I think it was 15 years, and wrote a book about her traditions. And so the way that they would go out and sing to their corn and sing to their plants and stuff. And so I actually started doing that, and it's a really amazing practice where, you know, and you don't have to be Indian to do that. You could, because you're an earth person. We're all earth people. We love the earth. Right. We love the life force is so important, our connection with that. And I tell you that singing to your plants is a really good thing. And the music, and you were talking about music that you play to your plants sometimes. And
well, you know, they say that this is the funny part, because Patty Walking Turtle will tell you, because she's a good friend of mine, she'll tell you that I am the metal Indian, you know. So I do play. I grew up around that time too, but I actually, just to see if it worked, I actually played Slayer to my garden, and I played it loud.
And that's a heavy metal, right?
Yeah, Slayer's a thrash metal band.
I know. My son is all into that. He sings in one of those bands.
And actually, my garden grew better than it ever had.
Wow, that's interesting.
Now, I have actually sung like like way hey ya ho na ya oh hey yeah no hey yeah, and it'd be growing. I can go out and do that. See what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Well, and I wonder if it's interesting because they did those studies with Dr. Emoto, the Japanese guy who he was a microbiologist, and he took photos of the molecules of water when they played different kinds of music. So right. The fact that, you know, and I think probably they did it with metal music and it didn't come out too good. But I'm wondering, it's interesting because maybe it was the intention and your love for that kind of music that came through. and the plants picked up on that, you know, and
They the thing about the thing about plants and animals in itself, okay? Animals talk to you. We have forgotten how to talk to the animal, okay? And actually, they talk to each other. I mean, I have 2 dogs in my house and a cat, and they talk to me all the time. Uh, the plants talk to each other. All life talks to each other.
and the trees.
The trees as well, yeah.
Yeah, the trees. I think pine trees in particular are very communicative. I love
Now,
going there and listening.
here's the thing of the great circle of life, sister. And I'm going to say it like this. I want everybody on the chat plus you and myself, okay? I want you to put the tips of your fingers together in a circle, okay? Do you see the circle?
Yep.
Okay, you got the circle of life, right?
Yeah.
We call that the circle of life, brothers and sisters. Now, if the water goes bad, you can't drink it. I want you to separate the top of your fingers just a little bit. Do you see this? Do you see the disconnection there?
Uh-huh.
Okay, if the wolf dies off and the big deer overpopulate, disease happens. Break that circle just a little bit more. Okay, you see that?
Yep.
The great circle of life is broken. You can die from that.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? Because all life is here put by Gitchi Manitou or Wakantanka or God or however you wish to say it. So all life is sacred. So any part of this life that is here for a reason, a purpose, or it would not be here, if any part of that is gone, we lose that connection to that great circle of life, and you can die from that.
Great. I have, you know, I'm really interested in food, and I know that Native Americans are not vegetarians, and I'm not, but I have, you know, I understand why people don't want to eat meat because of the way that it's produced and everything, and the horrors in that whole situation. But in a tradition where I live up here and in Mexico too, they have certain animal foods that's considered traditional and sacred foods, like the salmon here and the deer.
Yeah.
So one of the elders that I met his granddaughter, and she would tell me he was such a sweet man and very kind, and he somebody asked him about that, about you know, well, what about killing animals? And he got these tears in his eyes, and he said, you know, these are our sacred foods, and if we don't hunt them, if we don't take them into us, then they're going to disappear. And
Yeah.
what do you think about that? Have you heard stuff like that from your?
Yeah, that's exactly. Also, my grandfather used to teach me that. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Even in a hunt, or say you go into your garden, you're going to pick tomatoes today, just say.
Mm-hmm.
And say I'm on a hunt, and I'm going to say I'm looking for deer, right? Now, if I go on this hunt, I'm taking tobacco with me, and I also take water with me, okay?
Uh-huh.
And if I do make a kill, all right, just say I do make a kill, I go over and I put water and I put tobacco ceremony down for the spirit of that animal, and I thank the spirit of that animal for feeding my family, for giving up its life to feed my family.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So everything is ceremony. Now, if we don't ever hunt like that, then they could possibly overpopulate, which disease will happen, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I take tobacco with me, I take water with me. In other words, I do ceremony and thank the spirit of that animal for giving up its life to feed my family.
Yeah.
It's a relative thing.
Uh-huh.
And nothing, and when we do bring it back, nothing, I'm saying nothing is like, everything is used from that animal. Nothing is wasted.
Wow. Yep. I know people who have made commitments to don't eat any animal that meat that's not, either raised in a good way, a respectful way, or caught, in a respectful way like that. I thought that was pretty noble.
Everything should be done in respect, period.
Yeah.
That is the main point. Love, honor, and respect,
Yep.
period. That's the main point in that.
Hmm. I was wondering, we just have a few more minutes. I'd love to keep going, but I got to drive home. I got snowed in over on the coast here, so while the roads are open, I'm going to try to get home.
Oh,
But, I had, when my mom, I was 16 years old and my mom died, and we saw a mountain lion. We used to hear mountain lions at nighttime, and they'd scare the horses and stuff, and I was wondering, what is a mountain lion for you, like as a totem? I think that might be one of my totems.
well, see, there's power animals, there's strength animals, there's many, animals like that. Now, the fact about the cougar is that he's very swift. He's
Swift.
fast.
Yeah.
He's very silent as well. So you have very much strength with this silence. Sometimes silence and strength go together. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have that.
Uh-huh.
It's like my name, okay? Traditionally, my name would be Gwili Tali. Gwi, all right? That's my traditional way, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Twodog was gave to me by my grandfather years back, okay? Because I was like the old dog on the porch, all right? If I had loved you, I'm there for you, no matter what. Do not kick what I love, because the dog would turn into the wolf. So there's two, and like one spirit. You see one animal, two spirits. Kind of.
Yeah. Nice.
And if you notice, there is not an S on my name, just two dogs. There's no S on the name.
Uh-huh. So
there's
that's
two in one.
Oh, I see. Because
I was also named after the dog star Sirius.
What does that symbolize? The dog star Sirius.
Well, you have two stars right over that one star. You remember? Remember that?
Yeah. Now I'm remembering. Yeah.
There's two in one.
Oh yeah.
They seen that when I was born.
Ah. Nice. All right. Well, we're right at the top of the hour here, Twodog, and I was wondering, do you have any? I wonder if there's any. Let me just check the chat room, see if there's any other questions. No, it looks good. Do you want to leave us with some words of wisdom? Hopefully we'll come on again soon. Some more words.
I tell you what I can do. I'll do it like this. All my relatives that are hearing my voice today, I ask you to do one thing. I ask you to go outside one day and look around you. Put your hand on the heart. Put your hand on the earth, mother, brothers and sisters, and see what song the earth is singing. Okay? And then when you go out to meet your relatives outside your home, the black, the white, the yellow, the red, or whoever you meet, smile at them, talk to them if they will, but smile at them, put your hand out, and say hi to your brothers and sisters, because we're all related, and it's time to learn to love, honor, and respect each other. The brotherhood of man is waiting, and it's not very good right now, but we can bring it back together. don't don't walk away from somebody that may need a hand up. And if you see someone that is down, bend down, put your hand out, and pick them up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. Beautiful. Okay, brother. Well, I really appreciate you coming on here today and your words of wisdom, and pray that this goes out far and wide and people get inspired to be living a spiritual life again.
It was my humbling honor, mi sister, mi señorita. It was very much a humbling honor.
All right, cool. Okay, well, wishing you all a good night and good afternoon and safe travels, and enjoy the winter time and the snow. So if you got snow where you're at, and yeah, we'll see you again next week. Have a good night. Thanks, Twodog. I'll talk to you later.
Oh.
Oh.